On the question of Elon Musk, look, I think most people are more interested in what's going to happen to the NHS, frankly, than what's happening on Twitter. Child sexual exploitation is utterly sickening, utterly sickening. And for many, many years, too many victims have been completely let down by perverse ideas about community relations, or by the idea that institutions must be protected above all else. And they've not been listened to and they've not been heard. Those that are spreading lies and misinformation as far and as wide as possible, they're not interested in victims, they're interested in themselves. Those who are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, not interested.
Keir Starmer has found himself in a dire predicament. The Labour Party's popularity is plummeting, and the voices of the far right are growing louder, leaving Starmer to confront a genuine storm. He is besieged by critics on all sides, with no apparent escape. You might think you've witnessed enough political dramas, but trust me, this is an entirely different level. We're talking about a crisis that could cost Starmer his position, and these aren't mere rumors, they pose a genuine threat to his career. If you believe politics couldn't become more intense, think again. And here's the most shocking part, it's not just his adversaries who are celebrating his decline. Starmer's past as Attorney General is coming back to haunt him. People are unearthing old skeletons, and what they discover is truly alarming.
Injustice. They're supporting a man who went to prison for nearly collapsing a grooming case, a gang grooming case. These are people who are trying to get some kind of vicarious thrill from street violence that people like Tommy Robinson promote. And those attacking Jess Phillips, who I'm proud to call a colleague and a friend, not protecting victims. Jess Phillips has done 1,000 times more than they've even dreamt about when it comes to protecting victims of sexual abuse throughout her entire career. But when the poison of the far right leads to serious threats to Jess Phillips and others, then in my book, a line...
It's all too clear. You know things are dire when members of your own party begin to question your leadership, and some don't even bother to keep it quiet. But that's where the intrigue starts. We're witnessing significant shifts in key electoral districts, areas that have long been strongholds for trade unions. Yet now it feels as if someone has turned off the lights at the Labour Party headquarters. Why is this happening? It appears the Labour Party is shying away from addressing critical issues. Take the groomer gang scandal, for instance. The party's failure to confront this matter head-on has left many of its voters feeling disillusioned and angry. While the Labour Party was preoccupied with trying to extinguish the flames, Reform UK was swiftly gaining traction, with their polling share rising from 14% to 25%.
The Prime Minister from that dispatch box has made much of his service as the public prosecutor. So could he tell the House in that capacity why during his time he declined to instigate a prosecution for rape and sexual abuse against Mohammed Fayed?
Prime Minister.
That case never crossed my desk.
Right. That completes Prime Minister.
What's the issue? Groomer gangs. These horrific individuals who preyed on young girls are at the heart of the scandal engulfing Starmer. During his time as district attorney from 2008 to 2030, Starmer was responsible for overseeing court proceedings in England and Wales. Now people are raising difficult questions about what he knew and what actions he took or failed to take regarding these gangs involved in grooming criminals. This is no longer mere gossip, it has become a deafening outcry heard across the nation. One victim, who chose to remain anonymous, expressed her anguish, "I feel like the system has let me down. Where was the justice for girls like me when Starmer was in charge?" Her words cut deep, highlighting the real human cost of these failures. And it's not just the victims who are speaking out. High-profile figures are joining the fray, making the situation even more volatile. Enter Elon Musk. Yes, the very same Elon Musk, and his involvement only heightens the tension in this already explosive scenario.
What was your main takeaways from the Prime Minister's speech today? Lots of hard decisions to be made, but I think it's going to be a step in the right direction. My main takeaway is that the Prime Minister and this government is a government for third. Have you met the Prime Minister before?
No, it was the first time today. It was an honour getting to meet him. It was quite surreal.
And I think some good progress will be made, especially in terms of the economy and things.
I will be lie, I actually thought it was going to be on the streets at one point. Comes to my story, I think definitely tried to push forward for apprenticeships, so that kind of changed my life dramatically.
I think another thing which would be super helpful for a business like myself is looking at the ways that we can help smaller communities, and getting people into jobs in these smaller businesses as well is going to be a really key factor for someone like myself.
It's trying to show a young generation who were at school, had no idea what they were going to do, struggle with ADHD, dyslexia, is that anything's possible.
Elon Musk, the tech billionaire and owner of Twitter, isn't merely engaging in this debate, he's leveraging his immense influence to reshape the entire political landscape, and he shows no signs of backing down. His scathing accusations against Keir Starmer, highlighting his alleged involvement in violence, are sending shockwaves through the political community. Why does Musk's opinion carry such weight? With his powerful platform, he has drawn a completely new audience to this issue, and now Starmer is scrambling to defend himself, claiming he was among the first to combat child abuse during his time in office. But the public isn't buying it. Each time he speaks, the situation only deteriorates further. It appears he is digging his own political grave, shoveling dirt on himself with every statement. This scandal touches not just on the past, but also on the present, and it fundamentally revolves around trust. How can people have faith in Starmer to lead the country when so many questions linger about his judgment? Every word he utters and every promise he makes is now met with skepticism. In politics, perception is everything.
We watched as Britain's very quick transfer of power took place here at Downing Street just hours after last night's historic election. Outgoing Conservative Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, whose party went down to a crushing defeat, leaving for the last time.
To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry.
And just an hour later, Britain's new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, fresh off his party's landslide victory, arriving here at his new house, his new office at Downing Street with his wife. He addressed the British people for the first time, saying the work of change begins immediately.
This is a game changer. The rise of Reform UK is striking a chord with traditional Labour voters who feel overlooked and neglected by Starmer's approach. This isn't just a temporary blip. We are witnessing a concerning and consistent decline in support that has Labour leaders in a state of panic. They understand that if things don't change, they risk not only losing their leadership, but also the entire political battle. Every time Starmer turns on the TV or flips through a newspaper, it feels like another devastating blow to the gut. His personal scandals were serious, but now he watches in horror as his entire campaign crumbles around him. And that's the crux of the issue. The Labour Party's struggles aren't solely due to external opposition. There are harsh and critical voices rising from within the party itself. More members are beginning to question whether Starmer is truly capable of being a leader. The Labour Party stands on the brink of victory, but what lies ahead for them? Can they steer this ship back on course, or are they heading straight for disaster? One thing is certain, Starmer has a monumental task ahead. He needs far more than just a few clever speeches and political promises to dig himself out of this hole. Time is running out, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
I think Starmer absolutely knew before the debate about the Bowler letter and what it said, and took a deliberate decision, which he's done before. I'll give you the example. I think he just let Sunak repeat it over and over and over again, effectively let him hang himself with it.
Yeah,
because now the letter's come out this morning, the Bowler letter.
That's interesting.
And now Labour can say, look, they are proven liars.
So it's more of a zinger this morning than it would have been if he'd pulled it out of his pocket last night.
He looked, maybe to certain people last night, he looked like he didn't have the ammunition to immediately rebut the £2,000 allegation. And certainly some people have been saying that. But I think it was more than that. I think he knew. And it's a loyalty tactic, James. We all do it.
Elon Musk, the tech billionaire and owner of Twitter, isn't merely taking part in this debate, he's leveraging his immense influence to reshape the entire political landscape, and he shows no signs of backing down. His pointed accusations against Keir Starmer, highlighting his alleged involvement in violence, are sending shockwaves through the political community. Why does Musk's perspective carry such weight? With his vast platform, he has drawn a completely new audience to this issue, and now Starmer is scrambling to defend himself, asserting that he was among the first to tackle child abuse during his time in office. But the public isn't buying it. Each time he speaks, the situation only deteriorates further. It appears he is digging his own political grave, shoveling dirt on himself with every statement. This scandal touches on both the past and the present, fundamentally revolving around trust. How can people have confidence in Starmer to lead the country when so many questions linger about his judgment? Every word he utters and every promise he makes is now met with skepticism. In politics, perception is everything. What do you think about this video? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you later.